video, I am going to go over the research questions in a little more detail and take a look and compare them to the rubric with a couple different examples. So in our orange space poster folder here, I have the works cited assignment, I have the space poster assignment, the assigned objects, and 3 different examples of great, okay, and needs improvement. We're going to go over those examples right now. So we're going to take a look at the rubric and then compare them to each of our research pages to see how they stack up. So for the first one, for section 1, size and shape, to get full points, you needed object's name, diameter, distance, and revolution included. So for a great example, I have all 4 of those here in purple, and I even have a little extra definition or detail in revolution time. For an okay example, I had the exact same thing for the first 3, and I just took out that detail in revolution time because there was some special information. And then for needs improvement, I have the same first 3 because those are pretty self-explanatory there. But then for revolution time, I just say a long time. Clearly that needs improvement because that does not give me any sort of specifics. For section 2, composition, to get 4 out of 4, you need to describe the main components of the object, including elements, physical state, and comparative density. So let's take a look at what that means. So for this section 2 in blue, comparative density means the density, is it more or less dense than water? So for a great example, it changes since the sun is so varied. On average, the density is 1.408 grams per centimeters cubed, but it can be as dense as 162 grams per centimeters cubed, both more than water. So I said what the density is, and I said that they were more than water, so I got both those things checked off there. For rock versus gas, you just had to put rock or gas. And for composition main elements, I tell you what the main elements are. For an okay example, I have what the density is, but I don't have whether it's more or less than water, so you want to make sure to include that. Then again, gas, and then hydrogen and helium. I just don't have it in a full sentence. And then for needs improvement, I just have one of the densities. Well, you'll notice in these other ones, I actually have 2 because it required a little extra detail. Gas, plasma, and then for main elements, I just put lighter elements instead of specifying hydrogen and helium. For history, section 3, to get a full 4 out of 4, the history of the object given in 2 to 3 complete sentences in detail could include discovery, time, or person, and possible missions from your object. So for a great example, I have 2 to 3 sentences in detail. The sun has always been a huge part of the world's culture. Because of its size, no one person or culture discovered the sun, but the name for the sun has evolved over time. Many names have soul in them from Latin. The dramatic sun is where an English version of sun came from. In 2021, the Parker Solar Probe flew through the corona, which is a layer of its atmosphere. So because the sun doesn't have like a specific time or place, your object might have like a specific, it was discovered by this person at this time, but obviously it's pretty hard to miss the sun, so people discovered it right away. All right, to look at an okay example of history and how it was discovered, we've always had it, so there's not a lot of information, but I know that the English word sun comes from the Germanic word sun. So for this, I do have 2 complete sentences. A little bit iffy with that starting with but 2 complete sentences, but there's definitely not a lot of detail there. So that definitely would be missing some points. And then for needs improvement, we've always had it, so there's not a lot of information. You still have to give me something. Even if you can't find tons, there's still other things you can include. So this would definitely be a 2 out of 4 there. All right, for the next section, surface description. To get a 4 out of 4 surface description given in 2 to 3 complete sentences in detail. Details could include geology and atmospheric conditions. So for a great example, since the sun is made of gas/plasma, there's no surface to stand on, but there is an outer layer of the sun called the photosphere. If you were in the photosphere, it would be incredibly hot at about 5,500 degrees Celsius, and you would see the surface boiling with bubbles and geysers spewing out. Magnetic disturbances called sunspots are also found in the photosphere along with solar flares. The atmospheric layer above the chromosphere is above it. That last sentence will probably be good, but it's still a good amount of detail. So it's definitely 2 to 3 complete sentences. It definitely has the detail I'm looking for, talking about the atmosphere. There's not really a geology involved with the sun because it's all gas. For an okay example, there is no surface of the sun because it's gas/plasma. If you did stand on it, you would see solar flares and sunspots. So again, that has 2 complete sentences, but I'm definitely lacking the detail. And then for needs improvement, there is no surface of the sun because it's gas/plasma. That is not 2 to 3 complete sentences, does not have a lot of detail. All right, so for investigations, it says 2+ questions that you want to investigate with a description of how you would accomplish them. For a great example, if I could investigate the sun, I would want to send out temperature probes to see why and how the temperatures of the sun changes so much as you go through each layer. So I'm trying to investigate the temperature, and I said I would send out a temperature probe. I would also like to investigate the sun's core by creating a spacecraft that can handle the immense pressure of the sun's inner layers. So again, I want to investigate this thing, the sun's core, and I'm going to do it by creating something that can handle the pressure. For an okay example, send out temperature probes to see why and how the temperature of the sun changes. So you have one thing you want to tell me. You told me how you're going to do it, but I need 2+, and also this is not a complete sentence. To start with, send out temperature probes. That's more of a command rather than a sentence. And then needs improvement. Why does the temperature change? But you don't tell me how you're going to do anything about it, and you only have one thing. All right, for section 6, to get a full 4 points, 3+ interesting facts or features given in complete sentences. A great example, the sun has dust rings that orbit it, following the path of the 4 inner planets. The sun formed 4.6 billion years ago in a solar nebula. The sun's magnetic field can reach Earth and beyond, and when the magnetic storm is large enough, it can affect Earth with the northern lights, and if it's really big, it can disrupt power grids. So those are all complete sentences. I have 3 of them. I have detail. For an okay example, the sun has dust rings that orbit it. The sun formed 4.6 million years ago in a solar nebula, and I'm missing 1. So I only have 2. For needs improvement, I have pretty much the same thing there. Maybe I'll even needs improvement, you only have 1. And then for lastly, picture section 7. Drawing of object is detailed, including color and important features / information. For the research, you don't actually have to draw a picture. The picture is just going to be on the actual poster part. So you just have to tell me what features are you going to include. So I have the yellow-red color of the sun, solar flares, sunspots. For an okay example, same thing. And then for a needs improvement, I only have 2 things there. So those are my examples based on my rubric. The only other thing I want to touch on is the space poster works cited, but I'm going to do that in another video because this one is also very long. Thanks so much.